Okay guys, so today's our topic is actually adding. Oh, let me change my pen. So it's actually adding and subtracting polynomial. Okay, so today's our topic is actually adding and subtracting polynomial. So there's actually not really important property because it's just simply addition and subtraction, right? So let's just basically go straight to some real problem. Okay, so let's just go straight to some real problem. So we actually got how many questions? So we got 9 questions total. We got totally 9 questions. Okay. Yeah, totally 9 questions. So basically right now is the time for you to, if you know the answer for some of the question, I will suggest you to actually skip it, to speed up, focus, just try to make sure, you focus on the question, you don't understand it, okay? Otherwise, excuse me, my voice. Otherwise, I was talking about all those questions in really detail, okay? Because I want to make sure, all the people around the world does understand how we actually solving those kind of problem. Okay, so let's go with question 1. Okay, before we actually doing those questions, I just want to say it is not difficult. Okay, it is actually quite easy if you know how to do it. Okay, so adding and subtracting polynomial is not really difficult. It's actually quite easy. Okay, so clam down. I mean, just clam down, and then listen to me. Okay, I will. If you don't understand, I will try to make you understand well. Okay, but remember, it is quite easy. Okay, so for the first question, what we got is bracket 6a minus 5 bracket plus bracket 3a plus 9, right? So we want to simplify, so we have to put the thing out of the bracket, right? So we basically, what we do over here is 6a minus 5, and then we plus 3a, and then we plus 9. So it's just simply addition and multiplication, right? Addition and subtraction, right? So you can see over here we got a 6a and then we got a 3a, right? So 6a plus 3a is actually 9a, right? And then we got 2 number, right? We got negative 5 plus 9, so it's actually 4, right? So negative 5 plus 9, right? So it's actually positive 4. So we have done our question 1. See, it is quite simple, right? So the answer for question 1 is 9a plus 4. Okay, so it's quite simple, right? Okay, so let's move on to question 2. So question 2 is it's got a little bit more steps, right? So first thing first, you have to put in the thing out of the bracket, right? In order doing the addition and subtraction, right? So what we have is 4d squared minus 8d plus 7. So we put out the thing, right? And then we have plus 5d squared minus 6d, and then we have minus 9, right? So you see you have a 4d, and then you have a, so you see over here we have a 4d squared, and then we have a plus 5d squared, right? So it's going to be 9d squared, right? And then over here we have a negative 8d, and then over here we have another negative 6d, right? So negative 8d minus 6d, right? So it's gonna be negative 14d, right? So it's actually going to be negative 14d, and then at last what we have are those integer, right? We have plus 7 and then negative 9, so it's basically 7 minus 9, right? 7 minus 9 is actually negative 2, right? So we done our question, right? Okay, so this is the solution for question 2. Okay, alright, so let's move into question 3. Okay, question 3 again, we have to putting out the thing out of the bracket in order to doing the addition and the subtraction, right? So we basically what we do is 9m to the power 3 minus 2, and then we have plus minus 6m, so it just becomes minus 6m, right? And then we have this, right? So you guys remember, right? So we have a plus outside, but inside everything is negative, right? So it just basically become negative, right? So we have a plus outside, but just a negative. So just everything is negative inside the bracket. So it just basically, when you put it on the thing, it just become negative. Okay, excuse me. So now let's move in further. Now what we have is 9m cubed minus 4m cubed, right? So make sure you keep in mind you are actually adding the right term. Okay, make sure whenever you're doing adding and subtraction, you want to add in the right term. You don't want to add in the wrong term, otherwise you will get the wrong answer, right? So over here the right term is 9m to the power 3, and then we have negative 4m to the power 3, right? Which is 5 to the power 3, right? So basically over here is 9 minus 4 is equal to 5, so it's 5m to the power 3, right? And then we got those two, right? We have negative 2m minus 6m, right? So it's actually negative 8m, right? Negative 2m minus 6m is negative 8m, right? So now we actually solve the question, right? So we just we solve the problem for question 3, right? Okay, so let's move into question 4. Question 4 again is you have to put out the thing. You have to put out the thing, right? So over here what we have is 8d, and then minus bracket minus 7c, so it just basically become plus 7c, right? And then we have negative 2d, so it just becomes plus 2d, right? Okay, so now you see we have a 8d, we have a 2d, right? 8d plus 2d is actually 10d, right? And then plus 7c, right? So cause 7c, for 7c we cannot do any multiplication or subtraction with 7c, right? So we just leave it as it is, right? So now we solve the problem for question 4, right? Okay, so let's move into question 5. So question 5 again, I just want to make sure you guys keeping doing kind of like something similar question, and then you guys would definitely know how to do it, right? So first of all we have to put in the thing out of the bracket, right? So we have 5x squared minus 8x minus 3, and we have minus 3x squared, and then we have plus 2x minus 4, right? So you can see we got 5x squared minus 3 squared minus 3x squared, so it just basically become 2x squared, right? And then when we go over here we have a negative 8x, and then we have a plus 2x, so negative 8x plus 2x is actually negative 6x, right? And then what we have over here we have a negative 3, and then over here we have a negative 4, so negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7, right? Okay, see, this is the logic. Okay, so basically in this way, everything is gonna solve so easily, right? Okay, so now we actually solve question 5, right? Okay, so let's move into question 6. So question 6, you look at the question, it's kind of like really similar, right? So we have to put in the thing out of the bracket first, always, right? So we have 3x squared minus 8x plus 7, right? And then we have minus x squared and then plus 5, and then we have plus 8x, right? Okay, so we can see over here we have a 3x squared, and then we have a negative x squared, right? So 3x squared minus x squared, it just becomes 2x squared, right? And then whenever you see this, you see we have a negative 8x, and then we have a plus 8x, right? So we have negative 8x, and then we have another plus 8x, right? So those, it just get cancelled, right? It just get cancelled. And then finally we have plus 7, and then we have a plus 5, right? We have, so 7 plus 5 is actually 12, right? 7 plus 5 is actually 12, right? So now we solve the question. We solve the question 6, right? Okay, so let's move into question 7. Question 7 is the same thing, right? The same thing, right? So what we have is 4x to the power 3 plus x minus 3x to the power 2, and then we got negative 4x, and then it's plus 2x to the power 2, and then we have minus 4x to the power 3, right? So we, right? Okay, so what you can see over here is that we have a 4x to the power 3, and then we have a negative 4x to the power 3, right? So those terms, it just get cancelled, right? And then you see over here we have a single x, and then we have a negative 4x, right? So it's x minus 4x, so it is negative 3x, right? X minus 4x, so it's actually negative 3x, right? And then after that, what we have is those two terms. We have a negative 3x squared, and then we have a positive 2x squared, right? So negative 3x squared plus 2x squared is actually negative x squared, right? It's actually negative x squared, right? Okay, so now we solve the question 7, right? Now we solve the question 7, right? Now we solve question 7. Okay, as I say it, most of the question over here is you pulling out the bracket and then do the addition and the subtraction, right? So let's look at this question. Question 8. You look at it, we have to put in the thing out of the bracket first in order to do the subtraction and the addition, right? You see there's over here we have those really big bracket, right? So we have to doing the thing inside first, right? So what you can see over here is that we have 5x squared plus 2x minus 3, and then we have plus 2x, and then minus x, and then it's plus 2, right? And then we got, something outside, right? So which we have to do it a little bit later, because we have to get rid of the bigger bracket first, right? We have to get rid of the bigger bracket first in order to doing the calculation on the right hand side, right? But first of all, we have to simplify the thing inside the brackets first, right? We have to simplify the thing inside bracket first. So you can see over here we have a 5x squared, and then we have a 2x squared, right? So 5x squared plus 2x squared is even 7x squared, right? And then you can see over here we have a plus 2x, and so we have a negative x, right? So we have 2x minus x is actually equal to x, right? And then finally we have a negative 3 plus 2, right? So negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1, right? And then minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 5, right? So now we finish the simplification. Now we are actually able to calculate both sides, right? So now we are actually able to calculate both sides, right? Okay, so now we have to simplify a little bit more, right? So we have 7x squared plus x minus 1, and then we have a minus 2x squared minus 3x, and then it's plus 5, right? So right now you can see over here is that we have a 7x squared, and then we have a negative 2. So we have 7x squared minus 2x squared, right? Which is 5x squared, right? And then we have x and then minus 3x, right? So we have x minus 3x, so it's negative 2x, right? And then finally we got a negative 1 plus 5, right? So we got a negative 1 plus 5, so it's actually equal to 4, right? So we have a negative 1 plus 5, it is equal to 4, right? So now we get our final solution for question B, which is 5. The answer is right here, right? So it's 5x squared minus 2x plus 4, right? Okay. So now we solve question 8. Sorry. Yeah. So now we actually solve question 8. Okay. So I believe we are actually on our last question. Okay. So maybe take. Okay. So I think right now maybe the time for you to pause the video and try this question by yourself. Okay. Okay, so now let's do the question together. Okay. So over here, what you have is we want to find the value, right? So we want to find the value of A, B, C, D, so that each equation is true, right? Okay. So we want to find the value of A, B, C, D. So you can see we have 3a, so there's an a over here, right? And then we have a negative c, right? So it's a negative c, and then we have a negative b over here, and then we have a negative 2d over here, right? Okay, so let me tell you one thing which is make really easy for you to actually do this kind of problem. Okay, first thing first, let me actually erase a little bit. I just want to erase it because I already showed those ABCD stuff. So now the method which we gonna use it right now, making everything easy, is so basically, as we can see over here. Okay, so we can see over here we have a 3a x to the power 4, right? And so on the other side you see there's a 9x to the power 4, right? So remember the question, the question says we want to make each equation is true, right? So we want to make each equation true. So that's why you can see over here there's an equivalence over here, right? So you can see over here we have, let's go back to the point, okay? So over here you see there's 3a x to the power 4, and then on the other side you have a 9x to the power 4, right? So you want to make it equivalence since both of them are both x to the power 4, right? So you want to make the coefficient equivalence, right? So you want to make their coefficient equivalence, so each equation is true, right? So you want to make the coefficient of x, you want to make the coefficient of both sides x to the power 4 equal. Okay, so what we have on the left hand side we have a 3a, right? On the right hand side we have a 9, right? So 3a equal to 9, right? So right away you should know a over here should be 3, right? So now we solve we actually find the value of a, right? Okay, so what about right now we're trying to find the value of b. Okay, so as you can see, b is actually on the right hand side. So b is actually in this term, right? So it's negative b x to the power 3, right? And then you see on, okay, so you see on the right hand side there's a negative 5 x to the power 3, right? X to the power 3, right? So you see both terms have the same power, right? X to the power 3, right? So you want to make the coefficient equal, right? So we have negative 5 equal to negative b, right? So you know b is actually equal to 5, right? Okay, and we have to using the same method to actually find c and d. C and d is also the same method. Okay, so now let's focus on how to finding c. So you can see c is actually on the left hand side, right? So c, we have a negative cx on the left hand side, right? On the left hand side, and over here on the right hand side there's actually no term, right? You can so basically the thing over here is that you can see on the right hand side, right? So over on the right hand side, this side, you can see in this equation there's actually no x, right? There's actually no x, right? So that makes sense, right? So you can see on the right hand side we have x to the power 4, and then we have x to the power 3, and then we have x to the power 2, and we don't have x to the power 1, right? We don't actually have x to the power 1, right? So that indicate negative c is actually equal to 0, right? So okay, let me repeat one more time. So on the left hand side you see there's a term. Okay, so let me change my pen. On the left hand side you see that we have a negative cx, right? X to the power 1, right? But on the right hand side what we all have is x to the power 4, x to the power 3, and x to the power 2, and we don't have x to the power 1, which means x to the power x, which means x to the power 1 is actually equal to 0, right? That term is gonna be 0, right? That term, that's why is not 0, right? X is equal to 0. That's why there's no x in the term, right? So that's why we actually have to make negative c. So that's why we right here we have to make negative c equal to 0, and therefore c is equal to 0. Okay, I mean everything makes sense, right? Okay, right? So okay, so let's look right now. Let's just focus on question. Right now we're just trying to find the last value, which is d. Okay, so you can see over here is that we have this d over here, right? We have this d over here. We have a negative negative 2d, right? So maybe okay, let me write a little more clear. I think this is not really clear. It's quite confusing. Okay, let me use my blue pen. Okay. So we have a negative. I'm just gonna using 3 lines to indicate it. Okay, so we have a negative 2d over here. Right, and then we don't have a variable. I mean, we have negative 2d, right? But we don't have a variable, which means negative 2d is actually a value, right? Negative. So you can see over here negative 2d. Negative 2d it is not negative 2dx, right? It's just simply negative 2d. So that means negative 2d have to be a value, right? Have to be a value. And then on the other side, on the left hand side, you see there is actually a negative 2 over here. A negative, there's a positive 2 on the left hand side, right? Which means right? So plus 2 is actually a value, right? Which indicates negative 2d is actually equal to 2, right? Okay, so let me repeat one more time. So on the right hand side we have a negative 2d, right? Negative 2d have to be a value, right? It's not, because we don't have a variable in negative 2d, right? So it's gonna be a value, right? And on the left hand side you see there's a positive 2, right? So there is a positive 2, right? And 2 is a value. So we just make them equal, right? So negative 2d is equal to 2, right? And then d is just gonna be negative 1, right? Let me write a little bit clear. Okay, so d is just simply negative 1, right? Okay, right? So negative 2d is actually equal to 2, right? And then d is just gonna be negative 1. Then d is just gonna be negative 1, right? So now those are all the solutions. Those are all the solutions for a, b, c, d, right? A is equal to 3, b is equal to 5, c is equal to 0, and then d is equal to negative 1, right? So right now we actually solve the problem. We actually solve the problem, question 9, right? Okay, right? So I hope you guys, thanks you guys to actually watching my video. We don't actually talking too much in this section. All we basically do over here is telling you guys how we doing those questions. Cause in this section, the major part is you need to know how to doing those questions really well. Okay, so the major part also in this section is I want to make sure you guys know how to doing those questions really well, right? Cause you also learn by doing more questions, right? So thanks you guys watching my video. Please hit the subscribe button and then leave a comment below. Maybe maybe if you have any question, maybe leave a message, maybe a question, or maybe why you feel like my video is quite good. Okay, all right. And okay, so also subscribe to my channel, and like the video, and then also click the notification on. Okay, I will upload video date, as soon as possible. Okay, as soon as possible. All right, otherwise, see you guys on the next video. Good luck with the exam.